Hello. This is a series that I wanted to start, which was suggested by a thread on Reddit. And basically, it's just going to be me playing through an OpenTTD map that I have at the moment. So I've already obviously worked on this map. Everything's been created pretty much from scratch. If you're not familiar with the game, the map spawns with just cities and industries in, and you just connect them through different transport methods. That's pretty much it. Now, what I'm going to do is, the video series itself will be me running through creating, constructing and evaluating certain projects that I make, because I'm quite strategic with how I play. And what I'm going to be doing in this specific video is just explaining how the map's working, what I'm basically doing, the kind of theories that I go off, the strategies I'm using, just so you can understand the patterns basically as to what I do. So I want to just kind of introduce you first to the map that I'm making, and then carrying on from here, I'll just be building new things and making things more efficient and building new lines and sorting timetables and doing all the kind of businessy stuff you basically do in OpenTTD. So yeah, now first of all, I just want to say that yes, a few people asked on Reddit if I could post save data, and I will try and do that. I'll try and find a method to maybe Google Drive or Dropbox as to how I can save those for you, so you can obviously use them as well. So after the video, if you do want to play through the map and have a look around yourself, you're more than welcome to. I'll also provide reference to any materials that I use, because I do have a few different documentations, a few different things that I use externally to help me keep organized with the things that I do in OpenTTD. So I'll also let you reference those as well. And I'll come on to show you how they like what they are as well quite shortly. So the map itself is a UK-based map. It uses a few elements from European GRFs, so basically like moderation packs, modifications. Sorry. Now, in this basic region, I mean, the theory behind it is that this to me is a UK scenario, and obviously we go through time quite a lot, and obviously as we develop, and because the map is so big, as I'll come on to show you, there's not really a chance for me to only use UK vehicles in this. So I do use a few, like on screen here. I do use a few European trains, which looks like they, they may fit alongside UK trains on the map as well. But that's just because there are only about 4 or 5 usable trains really for the UK. So that's just to explain that. The stations and things, they use a Dutch station pack, but again, they do look like something that you would see in the UK, maybe minus, I was going to say maybe minus the station roofs, but again, it's predominant with something like a Victorian station. So again, yeah, if it looks like something which you would see in a modern day UK station or on a UK network, then it's something I would use in here. Same goes for buses and trams as well. So it's intended to be efficient, and it's obviously intended to be realistic as well. So it's kind of pseudo-realistic. I mean, obviously in OpenTTD you can do things such as 90-degree turns, which, depending on how you want to look at it through scale, might not be realistic, especially if you saw one of these turns as an example. So I'm always going to go out of my way to make sure that something looks more realistic, even if it is at the benefit of the game. So that's one theory that I do adopt to. Now, what I'm going to first do is show you the map. I'm going to show you the map, and then I'm going to explain a few points of interest to do with the map that may get referenced as I go through the videos. I'm not going to go through everything. I'm not going to go through all the routes, as if I show you here, I have 374 trains, and every single section on the left is a different route. I'm not going to go through all of those because there are so many, and it would take me a long time to do so. But if I participate in a project which requires me to look at one of these routes, then I will come and show you obviously that route, and I will give you an introduction when you need that introduction. So we'll leave that for now. But I will just give you an overview and let you know basically what's happening. So here is the map. You'll notice that there are dark and light blue lines. The dark blue lines are electrified railways, and the light blue are, well, diesel railways. They're not electrified. Some points of interest, basically. So if I show you stations such as this, so huge stations, these are basically mega stations. They're big, not interchanges per se, but they're where a lot of lines converge. So important stations I'll put as being big dots. The smaller dots are interchange stations, so they're stations generally that are used by more than one route. There are a few exceptions, basically, where a station might not come up like that, but they'll have their own reasons here or there. And just dots are just normal stations, just, you know, through stopping stations. You'll see that there's differences in the thickness of the lines as well. This line coming out of Sanway Central, and I will use the town names and station names. It is a bit cheesy, but it makes things a lot easier. So there's a line coming out of Sanway Central to the right here. Now, that's a little bit thicker, as you can see, compared to this section here. That means that this section is 4-track. So if I compare it with the 4-track, if I compare it with the actual OpenTTD map, you'll see that this section here is 4-track long. So that just lets me know very quickly that that's obviously a busier section of track. Again, if I compare actually this junction to the map on screen, you'll notice straight away that obviously just like the smaller lines are just doubled. But if you see a thinner line, that may be like a single track, but generally there are points of interest. If something looks different on this map, there will be a reason for it. So it just lets me have some handy information, and obviously looking at something like this is a lot easier than looking at the in-game map, which is here. I'm just going to open up the in-game map now. Again, so this is the area that we're currently populating. So we haven't expanded too far. I've just finished 2 major railways, which I'll show you in a second, but you can see how big the map is. Now, the overall objective for me basically is to try and connect as many of these different regions as possible. So overall, I want to try and expand up into this northern territory here, which, if UK Rail is anything to go off, means that I'm going to have to drop my investment massively and use a lot of displaced and reused stock. So, yes. That is the in-game map, so there was quite a lot to cover. Now, a few points that I want to take you through. When looking at this map here, now, there are 3 key high-speed lines that I use, and a lot of times when I'm doing projects, they revolve around trying to connect branch lines and passengers to these lines, because the game that I'm using has a setting enabled where every passenger has a destination. If I show you something like in here, so if I go back to the game, I'll show you by opening Soundwave station information, you can see that there is a list of where the passengers want to go, which adds quite a big element to it. So it's not just a case of linking random city to random city. The way in which you link the cities up is very, very important, because it can make a line successful or unsuccessful. It also dictates how people will obviously change through stations, so you'll tend to find some stations will become busier as they change for certain regions. So it does add quite a challenging aspect to it, which I find quite interesting. So yes, there are quite a few key lines that I'll just take you through, as these may get mentioned as we're going through projects. So on the western side of the map here, we have what is basically the west coastline. This is the last thing that I've built, along with another line, and it connects quite a few different regions. It's averagely busy, but this one's going to be expanded north, so it's something that's going to be worked on quite a bit. We have the line here, which I don't really have a name for, but there is a line that connects the top region to the current bottom region. That is the last thing, literally, to the last timetable services start. So that one's literally just building up passengers when we actually start building in game. And that line itself has the 3rd route, which is this section here. Now, I'm going to show you a few key towns just to show you the kind of junctions and the kind of scenarios we get in game. But these 2 cities here are the biggest cities in the game. So this little off-spur here connects those 2 cities to the rest of that high-speed line. So that comes in quite important. You'll also see there are a few other electric lines. There is a slightly smaller high-speed network. It's not quite as fast as the external ones, the ones around the outside, but that still proves quite important because it connects some of the biggest cities that are in the map at the moment. So that one is I do keep an eye on quite a bit, because that does need quite a lot of work. And you'll notice there are 2 different electric commuter lines as well. So I don't have many electric just stopping services, but these 2 are busy enough to warrant those, so there's those as well. I'm not going to go into all the branch lines and things, because there are frankly far too many for me to roll off one by one. But what I will show you is a few areas of interest. Now, if I bring you back to the game, you'll see here, if I unpause it, then you can see a town called Flunfingfield, and this is the biggest city in the game at the moment. It's served by one huge station, which has seen quite a lot of, I would say, emergency extensions, considering there have been so many queues building up at the start of these services add, obviously, and expand the routes from the station itself. It has a metro system, which links to the second biggest city, which I'll show you in a second as well. It also has a few bus networks as well, which I believe is due for a bit of an expansion, so that could be something that I do in a future video. The junctions around the station are somewhat complex. The south side has quite a few feeding lanes just to help ease traffic, but overall it's not very efficient. There are things I can do to make it a little bit quicker for trains to get into the station. The other side isn't quite as complex as the south side, but it still helps here or there just to provide a little bit of extra traffic flow in and out of the station. But this could be an area that I look on in a future video, because it does become a little bit of a problem now and then. If I go north up the line, you'll see that there's 4 rails alongside a tram line and a road network, obviously for buses and things, which connect these two huge cities. And this is the second city here, which is Renfingbourne, and this again gets a lot of traffic, especially from branch lines over in this area here, because there's quite a few big cities that near these two basically huge, like, metropolises almost. So it does get a lot of traffic, and that's something that gets mentioned a lot. So if I build new routes, generally I'll try have express trains visit these two cities, as passenger demand's quite big going to areas in and around here. So there is our second area. Basically, the map started out, so the first route was from here, what was a 2-platform station here at Soundway. It went up to, I believe it was Chinbridge, and then over to Cadhatten. So that was the first route. So because of that fact, basically this city here, Soundway, and another city which was closely followed, this one here, New Slaston, these are also very big cities and become quite important through our network. New Slaston has a pretty big bus network connecting it to the surrounding areas, and also has a metro system, like a tram system. So these two cities, again, they don't get quite as much attention as the other two, as the passenger demand going into it isn't huge, but they do generate a lot of passengers as well. So Soundway, especially, obviously having the 2 stations, this means that it is connected to the West Coast line, and it will become a lot busier as well over the as we expand up the West Coast. So it's going to become very important as we play through the map. So as we basically go through, the format of these videos are going forward that I will be telling you about different projects that I am going to do. So I'm going to have a look at the map, see where I could potentially expand or increase capacity along a section of my network, and then once I've identified something to do, which I'll do all within one video, and we will plan it out, we can see what we can do, and then we'll go build it, timetable it, and I'll organize it and add it into our, obviously into my maps and into my what is it, the train list, is it? So add it here, group the trains together and such as well. So that's what I'm going to be doing. If you do want to, if you are interested, obviously, in the videos I'm going to be producing, you can subscribe to me if you'd like. I don't want to be one of those YouTubers that goes, oh, you know, subscribe to me, like and comment, and, you know, stroke my dog and whatever else. But it's a case of, if you do genuinely want to see things about the series, I'll only be posting, you know, gaming related videos on here, just to kind of make it a little bit easier. But that's pretty much it for the prologue video per se. I'm just going to be producing a few videos just to see how things go, and hopefully you can pick up a few tips.